I know, I do the same thing because I hate the reflection, but then if I take
Yeah,
them off, I won't even know where I'm looking. So
I bought one of those round light things that you're supposed to.
That's what I'm using right now, the
I
ring.
know, but it goes in my glasses and I look
Yeah, I
crazy.
know.
And my daughter rang me up and went, Mum, ditch the light, ditch the.
yeah, I actually heard that if you position it higher than yourself, and then you tilt your head down a little.
Well, but you have to like stay in there. Okay. Well, we are on anyhow, and you look fabulous. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Let me get back here. There we go.
Hey.
Hello, everybody. So as I said, usually it's Thursdays at 6, and usually we'd be having wine, but we are across the pond today with Siobhan, who is drinking, and we're so envious because all I have is my coffee.
Ideas.
Hey.
Cheers. Thank you so much for accommodating me, though.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. Because so for everybody who's new here, welcome. My name is Allison Jacobson. This is my good friend Karen Sakowitz, and we go live every Thursday talking to women who are doing amazing, incredible things, or somebody who can give us advice on being in midlife, whether it's health, wealth, business, whatever. And I ran across Siobhan in another group and heard her story, and I'm like, you're really cool. We need to talk to you. And I'm like, Karen, look at Siobhan. This is really cool. She's driving across the UK, and we all want to do that.
Exactly. This is my life that I want.
I know.
It's too cool.
I know. So welcome. And I'm taking it this is your RV that you're in.
This is my home. And look, I've switched the lights on. My gin bar is open, ladies. I know it's only 3:30 where you are, but it's 8:30 here. So
I was going to say it's 5 o'clock somewhere. So there you go.
I know.
Oh my God.
But I do watch you, and I do know that normally you would have glasses of wine, so I don't feel bad pouring mine. I did think, so should I have? I've got water in the background. Look, I could do water if I thought.
No. My feeling is this is our group and we like to drink. If somebody doesn't like that, oh well, but I don't know a woman in midlife who quite frankly doesn't like to drink.
Life drives you to need the odd drink.
Amen. Well, and so for anybody who watched last week or earlier today, yes, I did get my second COVID shot. I am awake and alert. Karen is not popping me up. I do have to say though, I got the Moderna shot and literally this is as far as I can lift my arm. Like it's sore.
Did you get the same arm both times?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. So tomorrow I may be conked out, but for now I'm here. So tell us about your life.
Oh, lordy hordy, my life. Well, I was born in Leeds. I'm a Yorkshire lass, which is something to be very proud of in Britain. We're a hardy bunch, the Yorkshire women. I was from a family of 8, 4 boys, 4 girls, Irish Catholics. And I was a nurse for 9 years. I thoroughly enjoyed being a nurse, but then I left to be a pharmaceutical rep, and I got pregnant with my daughter. And whilst I was pregnant with my daughter, I always knew that I wanted to be a journalist. It was just something in me. I sort of went into nursing because my mum was a nurse, my dad was a nurse, and so I taught myself to type, and I did my typing exams when I was pregnant. And so when I had my daughter, I got a job in the local radio station on reception. I was absolutely rubbish. I kept getting called off, but whatever. I got my foot in the door, and then I heard the advert coming up for the BBC trainee reporter scheme, and 7,500 people applied for 26 places, and I got one of the places.
Wow.
And my partner had already been unfaithful and things, and I kind of saw the writing on the wall, single mum as a part-time nurse or single mum as a journalist. So I that was my first big challenge in life. I thought, I'm going to go off and do this traineeship with the BBC because I know I can give my daughter a better life on my own.
Good for you.
My friends and family supported me. So I went off and did that, trained to be a reporter. Then I worked for 10 years in local radio. And I had my own radio program for a while, and I did predominantly news programs. Then when I was nearing 40, I decided I needed another challenge. So I decided to apply for a job in television, and I got the job in television. So me and my daughter, when I think she was about 10 then, it was our big adventure to move down south, because we were proper northerners in England, and there's a big difference between north and south. So we moved down south, we moved to Royal Tunbridge Wells, and I worked there for 20 years in television and loved it, as a presenter, reporter and producer on television, and thoroughly enjoyed it. And then I retired 18 months ago. So that's me.
18 months, that's it. My gosh. You know, it's funny because my background was PR. I always wanted to be an on-camera journalist. And then it got to the point where with 3 kids, I was like, this isn't going to work. So hats off to you for making it work as a single mom. That's not easy.
Well, the thing was, I was naive. I didn't realize as well, ageism was already a prevalence when you're 40. And I went into my very first job in television when I was 40. So it was almost like I was fighting a losing battle from day one, which I didn't realize. But I had some good times, you know, and I did report, I was on screen, but then we got a new boss, and it was like he actually said, and oh no, I better not. But he just thought,
we'll leave it at the fact that it was probably not a good move for you to stay there.
Yeah. But I stayed there and I loved it. I stayed for 20 years in Tunbridge Wells, and my daughter got in the local grammar school, which was great. She had a fabulous education. And today she's just moved into her first ever apartment that she's bought back in Tunbridge Wells. She lived in London, but she's moved back there, and she moved in today. So I'm like, yay!
That's awesome. And isn't it great that you launched her, and now it's your turn?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, she's so supportive. I don't know if you've ever seen the program Ab Fab.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, to all my friends, I'm like Eddie, and my daughter's like Safi. So she kind of mum, you know, like ditch this, do this, and so she's always been supportive of the crazy things that I've done, because I've done lots of them. When she went off to university, I got a gap year from the BBC. And because I kind of thought, you know, I've been years being a single mum, I've done everything right, and I was going through the menopause, and I thought, this is a bit of me time. So I went to the boss and said, can I have a gap year? And he said, yep, as long as you're back by a certain date. So I packed a rucksack, got a round the world ticket, got on a plane, and didn't really know where I was going.
You literally went around the world.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I did Bangkok, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Australia, New Zealand, Fiji. Then I kind of veered off to Vancouver because I wanted to see relatives, and then back again to South America, to Brazil, Argentina, Bolivia, and Peru. And then I went.
Talk to me a little bit. I mean, where was, you know, there's women who literally won't go out to dinner by themselves, and you chose to go around the world by yourself. I mean, how did you decide to do that? Was there a hesitation with that?
Well, it's funny, today you did your set yourselves objectives or whatever, and you said about fear and facing the fear, and I could so relate to that, because that was my motivation. It was kind of, hello dog.
That's my dog.
You know, like that little voice fear, like you've got, like you said today, you've got 2 choices. You can either let that little voice say, oh, sit back on the sofa, make yourself a coffee and watch the TV, or you can let that fear. And I'm the kind of person, I don't know what it is about me, as soon as I feel fear, I want to explore that avenue, I want to do it. And so that's what I did. I got the round the world ticket, and then I tell everybody. So once I've told everybody, it's like, I've then got to do it. That's the key thing. It's like feeling the fear, but once you tell people, then you don't want to lose face.
And I think the other thing that's important about that is, when you're feeling that fear, when you keep it inside, it just festers and festers and grows bigger. And when you let it out, it kind of dissipates, diffuses it.
But it really was there. When I remember sitting on the plane at Heathrow Airport, heading off for Bangkok, and my friends all said goodbye, and I had all the leaving parties, and I got my rucksack and all the pictures, and I felt so cool. And I sat on the plane and I sobbed because I thought, oh my God, this shit's getting real. I've got to do this now. What are you going to do? And it was like, ah. But I booked into a hotel in Bangkok for 3 nights just because I thought I needed that security. And those were the worst 3 nights. Those were the loneliest 3 nights, because it was like a corporate hotel, you know, the same bedside tables, the same chairs, and the stationery and everything. Once I started going in the hostels and mixing with other people who were traveling, whatever their age was, that was it. I just relaxed, and people loved it, and people of all ages. You know, the youngsters used to call me their travel mummy, and they'd message me on Facebook and say, hey, we're going to be on CoPP or so and so, do you want to meet up? And it was great, and I'm still friends with some of them now.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So that's, believe it or not, I was just thinking about this the other day, about the concept of youth hostels and how you could just go backpack around Europe or wherever you wanted to go. And I thought, do they have something like that for people over 50? I guess they do.
Oh, my goodness. Honestly, a lot of the people are 50. But I was just before I was about 49. But the lot of the people in the hostels are our age. If there's the International Youth Hosteling Association, and their hostels are the ones to go for. There's obviously the knocking shop that the youngsters go to, and you know, they're different, and you don't want to be associated with those.
Yeah.
But the ones that are the International Youth Hosteling Association, they're great fees. I used to stay in the dorms where there were 4 people, and you get used to doing that. And then eventually, every now and then, I'd get a dorm for 2, and I'd pay the double price. I'd be on my own, and I'd just empty all my rucksacks, sort things out, have time to chill, do a face pack, do a pedicure, do all the things that, you know, get rid of your facial hairs, do all the things you need to do on your own. And then I was off again.
So I would love whoever's listening, because I know a bunch of people listening, just put an emoji if this is something that you've always wanted to do and you didn't have the courage. Because I think, you know, to look at you, first of all, you know, you glow. And I can tell that glow comes from happiness. I mean, it's emanating from you, Siobhan.
I had such a hideous time in my late 50s at work. With the menopause and with bullying and with all sorts of things, which again, I won't go into. I've gone into in blogs and various things, but to be where I am now, to live the life I want to live at the pace I want to live, and just be kind to people and people be kind to me, is the kind of life I always wanted to live. And I unfortunately, the senior management where I was, the behavior was just not acceptable. But because I was going through the menopause at the time, I was very vulnerable. I didn't speak up. So I had a lot of pent up anger and frustration of what, you know, if I met that person or those people in the street now, oh my God, they would get a barrel full of what I really feel. But at the time I was weepy, and you lose your confidence, you've got your cotton wool head, all because of the menopause.
Yeah.
So to be in this position now, where I wake up to the sunrise, I go for long walks, I write my blog. I know, it's sickening, isn't it? Sorry.
I think, well, you know, I always talk. Yes. And we always talk in this group that our goal is, if not 2021, but 2022, to do a retreat. But now I'm thinking a hostel with women our age.
Oh, just honestly, get some RVs and a crowd of you, plan a trip. And don't just stay on the same site. Think, okay, we'll do a night here and we'll do 2 days here, and then we'll just to have the experience of driving the thing, which is great fun.
Yeah.
And I'd come over and join you.
I would love that.
That'd be great.
So okay, you took the gap year, you did this, and then what possessed you to say, I'm just going to get an RV and go traveling around? But you also climbed mountains, right?
Well, I do, yeah, because when I came back from traveling the world, I felt so confident and so together, and it didn't take long before the system where I was working kind of beats you down, and I felt and just after that, my sister, who was 53, died of lung cancer. And just before I went around the world, my brother, who was 53, died of lung cancer. And so it really floored me when my sister died. And so I was 52, and I was thinking, shit, I'm next. And I just retreated to the sofa, and I just, with the menopause and with grief and all sorts, and my daughter came in one day, and she was just getting really frustrated with the way I was. And she said, we need to do something, Mum. We need to let's raise some money for charity. Let's run a marathon. And I went, oh, let's not. But Sammy being Sammy and me being Eddie, next thing I'm running around and training. And we ended up doing the Brighton Marathon, and we raised £5,000 between the two of us. And I don't know how much that is in dollars, about $10,000.
A lot.
And then so we did that, and then I thought I'd retired at my peak, and then a year later she entered me for the London Marathon, or 2 years later, and nobody in the London Marathon gets a place in the first ballot at all. It's like really notoriously difficult to get in. Mm-hmm. She got me a place, and I burst into tears thinking, no, I can't do another one. But Sammy being Sammy and me being Eddie, it was like, get out. So we did the London Marathon, and that was really good. I enjoyed that actually in the end. Just, it's, I mean, to run around London is incredible.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you did it at 53. So, you know, again, ladies, there is nothing you can't do at any age. You really can't. I mean, we've seen that from Tara, our guest. I mean, go for it. Go for it. Now, you know, that was one of the things I was thinking when you said about your brother and your sister dying. And I had this conversation with my husband last night because, I mean, it sounds cliche, but you just don't know. What the hell are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
Well, I think all those kind of things. My dad died at 50 when I was 16, and then my brother and sister and things, and they're all sort of 50, around the 50s. And I kind of was putting up with so much shit at work that I then, when I got to 60, I thought, I am going to do what I want to do for as long as I can do. If I die next year, you can see I am happy. I have had proper happy times. This time last year, I went to Scotland. No, earlier, it was sort of January, February time, I was in Scotland, and I drove to the side of a loch called Loch Morlich, which is beautiful. And I stayed there for 9 days, and I went when the moon was really bright one night. I went to the edge of the loch, and I literally cried and screamed, and just that cathartic moment in my life of letting everything go, all those things, the death of my sister, and my mum had died the year before as well, just before I embarked on this. She would have been so proud of me doing this, because she was such an awesome, strong woman. Because she was only in her 40s when my dad died and left her with 8 children. So she was sort of somebody who I aspired to be like. She's such an incredible, strong woman. And I screamed and let all my feelings out. And I would say to any woman, if you get the chance to do that, do it. Because since then, I've just felt happiness. It's crazy, but I really have. I have days where I'm just like, everything goes wrong and I go, but everybody, you know, but on the whole, my life is happy.
And you're doing this to fight ageism and the stereotypes. How's that going? What are you doing?
Right. Well, the main thing, when I was in the media, I got so cheesed off when every morning we'd have what we call a newsroom meeting at 10 o'clock, and they'd be discussing issues, and you'd have the youngsters and talking about, oh my God, there's old people over 50, and in such disparaging terms, and the way that they wanted to reflect them in reports they were doing. And I interject and say, well, no, actually this, and I was just kind of dismissed. You know, I could be talking and looking them in the eye and they would turn there, and I found it increasingly frustrating. Then the BBC did a campaign about being really old, starting 50 plus, and I'm sitting, I know, well, I was like this, I was just like, I was just shouting at the radio all the time when I heard it go. And then the images that are used in the newspapers, lots of our broadsheets that have, when they talk about something about old people, it's crinkly hands like this, or, you know, they reduce women and men to body parts, feet or hands or whatever. And so I thought, I want to go out there, even if I'm just like a little ripple in the water throwing a stone, and I want to go out there and shout about ageism. At the same time, I was getting increasingly cheesed off with the fact that more and more people were going out, working hard to earn money to buy stuff that they didn't need. And then they couldn't see family and friends. And I was as guilty of that as well. I had a beautiful, massive flat with loads of gorgeous things and always doing dinner parties for 10, 12 people. But it was just at the detriment of lots of other things. So I wanted to say to people, you can live with very little, and you can go out there. And that's what I've done. I've got my motorhome, but I'm also engaging with, I think, the intergenerational talk about ageism, saying to younger people, you're going to be my age one day. Don't put up with the shit I put up. You need to start the changes then, not when we're 40, 50, 60, so that when you get to 40, 50, 60, you're not putting up with the crap that we're putting up with now and having to talk about. So I'm talking to as many people as I can. I've got a video presentation, a Zoom presentation. So if anybody in there, America, wants me to do a Zoom presentation, it's a slideshow, and I do a talk basically going through my life of all the things that I've done and facing fears and challenges and ageism in the workplace and menopause and what I'm doing now. And it goes through all that. So I'm going out doing talks and Zoom talks. I was going out doing talks, but of course I've been in lockdown. So I've got the Zoom talks, and I'm in the middle of writing a book. I've got just over halfway, and it's called Ageless, Fearless Women. You Can Do It Too.
Nice.
Oh my gosh. Can we get a copy?
When I do, but I've got to find a publisher. Yeah, I'm just writing it, yet hoping that somebody out there is going to say, yeah, we're going to publish that.
Yes.
And so many people say to me, when you write it, we want to read it. So I know there's a demand out there, but it's so, and I'm enjoying writing it as well.
Well, and I think that's what I said this today too, about our group. I think, we need to come together collectively. And I think midlife is more of a mindset rather than an age. And it's about being happy with whom you are, feeling confident with who you are, and letting all of that crap go to feel that way. And that's why I love this group, because we lift each other up.
Yeah. And I also think people talk about anti-aging all the time. I started off very much anti-aging, but the more I've transitioned through and the more I've talked to people and listened to people and engaged with them, I think I'm more a pro-aging, because we're all aging. From the day we're born, we're aging. And yet you go into a school with youngsters and you mention the words grandma, grandpa, old, and things. Listen to the responses that you get. And a lot of them are negative, in the sense of that people fear getting old. And I want to go out there and make it that people look forward to being old. It's a great period. I'm in my 60s. I'm having a ball. I am having a ball, and not the angst of the 20s and things. So I want people to sort of be pro-aging. I don't want anti-aging creams. I'm privileged. My mum, my brother, my sister, my dad all died in the 50s. I'm privileged to have reached my 60s. I want creams that and enhance my aging.
Right.
The narrative surrounding aging needs to change. The images surrounding aging need to change, because it's something that to be proud of. It's something that's good and nice. It's not to dread. And when people used to say to me, God, I'm ranting when I can hear my own voice. Sorry, girls, but
this is great.
I'm on my pedal. But when people said to me, "You don't look your age," and I began, "Oh, thank you." That's right. Actually, no, I do look my age. This is my age. This is what I look like. We look how we look. We are the age we are, and we dress the way we want to dress to make us feel as well as we want to feel. Who's the fashion police? Who's the ones to tell us what we've got to do? So I want everything to be a lot more, not anti-aging, but pro-aging.
I love that idea of the pro-aging.
Thank you very much. And I think I'll have a drink.
Please do. And I think it's interesting, because I posted something in the group almost a year ago, and somebody said, well, it's great, but why does she have to be wearing something so skimpy? And I was like, but that's okay, because maybe she wants to, and there's nothing wrong with that. Good. Right. Exactly.
And I was as guilty of that as anybody else. I would do the, oh my God, mutton dressed as lamb, and all these kind of phrases. And I remember being in my 20s, going to a nightclub and seeing some women there in their 40s who were mums, and talking with my friends, going, oh my God, look at them. They're out. they're out, they're in their forties, they're mothers,
Yeah.
you know, and it's just like.
So what's your next step?
Well, my next step from here, because I'm still in lockdown, I can't move from here because of COVID. But on the 12th of April, all being well, the site's open. And I'm going down the road about 2 hours an hour and a half down the road. And there's a group called the Yes Tribe. And you must check them out. They're a group that say yes more, say yes to things, say yes to adventures. And it was
Love that.
they're brilliant, and they've bought this 15 acres of land down the road, and they've today they got llamas delivered, and they're planting orchards, and they've got pods where people can sleep in them, and they're just developing it. They've only been there a matter of months, so I'm going to go and volunteer there for 4 days.
Nice. And they probably have yurts.
Yes.
I've always wanted to be in a yurt.
Oh, you and me, I've always wanted to go to Mongolia and sleep in a proper yurt.
Oh my gosh. Well, I want to come join you in the Yes Tribe. That just sounds amazing.
Well, I mean, I don't know them. I've not really met them yet. I've only met them on social media since last December. Every day they do a coffee morning. If you just look on Facebook, the Yes Tribe, you'll see all that. They do events all over the world, and challenges and paddle boarding and walking and rollerblading, everything. They're great.
I think we may have to start our own Yes Tribe here. We could start our Yes Tribe Connecticut chapter.
I've got this. I sent off for their sweatshirt, and it's brilliant. It says, oh, it's inside out, but it says "Say Yes More" on the front.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for talking to us. You are amazing. I'm so glad I met you. Please, please stay in our group. Keep us posted on what you're doing. And then for everybody else, I cannot be on next Thursday. I'm driving my daughter back to college. And then the following Thursday, I'm on a plane to Florida.
Whoa.
A plane. I know. Shocking.
We're not allowed to travel anywhere out of Great Britain yet.
I know. I know.
Just to say, if anybody out there wants a Zoom talk, a motivational talk, or about ageism, or about what I'm doing, my adventures, please contact me, because I'd love to do it.
And Siobhan is in our group, so you can reach out to her. And I think we should just schedule that as a watch party one night.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would be really cool.
Oh,
we
brilliant.
could do a watch party.
Great. With
right,
the wine.
Yes, with wine. So it will be an evening watch party. All right, everybody. Siobhan, thank you so much.
Speak to you.
Take care. Bye-bye.